Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to Geeks Reads. Today I'm going to talk about the book Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, an image of which you will see here. This is a book someone recommended to me. I actually have a long list of books that people have recommended to me, a number of which are sitting on the shelf over there. So I want to read the first sentence in the book, in the prologue. So, it is important when killing a nun to ensure that you bring an army of sufficient size. For Sister Thorn of the Sweet Mercy Convent, Lenotassis brought 200 men. I'm interested. Tell me more about the killing of, about murderous nuns that you need 200 men to bring in and kill. That first sentence just, man, had just immediately just drew me in. And it did not disappoint. Holy crap. That's just a prologue, which takes only a couple of pages. And that prologue kind of bounces forward in the future bit. The story does bounce back and forth. It goes back and forth between that, like every section of the book, every like 3 or 4 chapters, it'll bounce back to that opening sequence of killer nuns in the future. The main story is about a young girl named Nona, who is basically plucked from the gallows. Yes, they were hanging a 9-year-old girl by the abbess of the Sweet Mercy Convent and recruited to become a killer nun. Nona's an interesting girl. She's very quiet, introspective. The kind of girl that doesn't speak unless she has something to say. She shows a talent for certain of the nuns' teachings. In this world, it's basically a frozen wasteland with a narrow strip of habitable land that these people live in. And basically some of people who of the old blood, so to speak, sometimes show certain gifts. And they're basically grouped in like certain bloodlines. The Hunska are supernaturally fast. The Maryal have like a bond with nature and natural element, and basically the natural world. The Quantal walk the path of magic. There's another bloodline that I can't quite recall the name of right off the top of my head, but they're like very large and supernaturally strong. And in some people, this old blood shows. Nana has some gifts. She's not quite the chosen one, but she's definitely talented, and she has some of the old blood in her. Otherwise, she wouldn't be quite so interesting. But yeah, there's political intrigue that she gets drawn into against her will. Sometimes because of the decisions that she makes, and the abbess of the Sweet Mercy Convent then has to kind of clean up after some of her chosen decisions. And some of the decisions that are political are from the abbess. I find some parallels or similarities between the Harry Potter books in that the Sweet Mercy Convent is run sort of like a school. You know, these girls have classes in reading and writing and geography and mathematics, in addition to being trained as killer nuns. It is also broken up into 4 separate classes. You have the red class, which is primarily focused on martial combat. Gray class, which is focused on, I think, the Maryal and Quantal, the magical aspect of it. There's white class, and I forget the fourth one. So, you know, kind of broken up into houses kind of thing. There's, you know, red sisters and gray sisters and white sisters and the other color, which I think is black, but I don't remember. And I should have done some notes before coming into this. It's chilly in here. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be wearing Hawaiian shirts. Whew. It is getting cold in here. It is October. It is autumnal season. Anyway, back to the story. But, you know, there are the sisters that live in the convent. There is the novices, the other girls in her class. I find I really enjoy their characters. They all have very distinct personalities. The convent and the sisters try to forge them into not necessarily friends, but at least a cohesive functioning unit that will at least work towards a singular goal. Not everyone agrees with this philosophy. Not every girl who is there intends to take the vows to become a full sister. Some of them are just there to be trained and to be educated. Some like Nana have, you know, come from poor backgrounds who this is like their only shot at making anything out of themselves. I was just super intrigued by this. You know, nothing I'm going to tell you is anything that isn't on the back cover, so I haven't really given anything away. Trying to some things I can say without spoiling anything more. I think I mentioned this. There are times I thought that Nona might be like considered like a Mary Sue character but she's not super good at everything. She is good at several things, but she's not a genius. She doesn't immediately become the best at everything she does. She has strengths and weaknesses, which I think makes her a better rounded character. And it allows her to mix in with her fellow novices / classmates in interesting ways. For someone who doesn't talk much and doesn't get a lot of internal dialogue, I find she's a very interesting character, and I was just fascinated to find out more and more and more and more and more. I burned through this book fairly quickly, except for I found at the end of the book, I kind of slowed down because I kind of saw where the ending was going. Like for the first chunk of the book, I really had no idea what to expect, because they kind of threw some twists at you. Like, you know, you don't expect them to hang a 9-year-old girl in the beginning of the book. So, you know, the world is fairly dark. So, like I said, up until like the last like 50, 60 pages or so, maybe a bit more than that, maybe, because this book is over 400 pages. Yeah, it's like 475 pages. So maybe like the last like 75 to 100 pages make us say, okay, I can see where the finale's going. I can figure out what's going to happen. So I kind of lost momentum there for a couple of days, to put the book down for a couple of days and did. But then when I picked it up, I discovered, oh no, I didn't know where this was going at all. This was different than what I expected. So yeah, this book kept me entertained the entire way through. I've been nodding my head, trying to think of other things to say, but I really, really like that book. It's been a hot minute since I found a new book that I enjoyed quite that much. I know I had another recent book, and now I don't remember which one it was. Oh, it was a book I haven't discussed yet, and I won't for a little while. But there's been a couple new books recently that have drawn me in, and that is one of them. So I was very impressed, and I am definitely getting the next 2 books of the series. I don't, sight unseen. It's a trilogy, and this is not this author's only book either. He has a couple other series. I'm gonna have to dig. This is gonna add another dozen books in my to be read pile, in addition to like the 17 books I've got on my shelf that I haven't picked up yet. So highly recommended. I'm gonna give it like it's a solid A, I think. I wouldn't say A plus. I think the story does lag a bit in a couple locations, but yeah, it's a solid A. Really, really like this book. Highly recommend you read it if you're into that kind of killer nun fantasy stuff. As always, thanks for watching. As always, this is Crap. And until next time, good hunting.